All right, folks, here's another episode. So we're going to talk about companies ditching DEI, well, with a question mark. This is about hiring competent people, okay? I just recently watched Hypnotic's video about the failure of Bloodlines 2, and I think one of the things that he summarized is that the lack of talented writers. Okay, look, for game developers and producers, they are essential, but core of any developers, doesn't matter whether it's movies, TV shows, or video games, the writers are essential, okay? You need good, talented writers, and this is what's missing.
We are seeing a major shift with companies' approaches to DEI initiatives. We are seeing them drop these terms from their reports. They're not mentioning them as much to
They're
investors
hiding it.
anymore, and really, this could be a very
Maybe.
positive change. I have a few different things to show off, but
Could
before
be.
I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, diversity and inclusivity is amazing when it is done naturally.
That's right.
But when you have a checklist of certain people you have to hire or certain types of individuals you need to give the spotlight to, yeah.
Again, let's be clear one simple thing, okay, folks? This is why we need competent people. Look, if you do want to check boxes in your diversity quotas, make sure those people are one, competent, and two, experienced, okay? That's the real thing, okay? You can't just hire somebody just because they're what? They're blacks, they're Asian, they're Hispanic, whatever it is. No, cannot do that, okay? I'm not gonna be playing all of it. We'll check some of it.
Isn't okay. We need to go back to merits being the first
right.
and foremost focus for who we're potentially employing, and the best person for the job should get the job. And now we're hearing about Microsoft not publishing these reports this year. Disney is dropping DEI and related terms from their
yes,
reports,
I heard the report.
and man oh man, are things looking very strange, to be honest, after years of these companies really putting all of these terms first. And we joke about take a shot every time they mention DEI and you'd be dead by the end of the presentation. Now it looks like they are trying to silently scale back the amount that they are mentioning these different terms. So this is a GameFile report by Stephen Totillo, and it says Microsoft won't publish a diversity and inclusion report this year. In October 2024, Microsoft published a 44-page report detailing the diversity of the company's massive workforce. The dense dispatch included charts showing the company's demographics over time, pay comparisons for different groups of employees, and even offered data about the types of people who were leaving Microsoft. At the time, their chief diversity officer called the public filing our most global and transparent report to date. She also noted that it was Microsoft's 6th annual global and diversity report that ended a streak of overall Microsoft reports on workforce demographics that dated to at least 2015. That streak is over. They have confirmed to GameFile that it will not publish a diversity and inclusion report in 2025. We are not doing a traditional report this year, as we've evolved beyond that to formats that are more dynamic and accessible, stories, videos, and insights that show inclusion in action. And our mission and commitment to our culture and values remains unchanged, empowering every person and organization to achieve more. And this is done intentionally, the same way that Disney is saying that they are dropping DEI and related terms, because they are not actually doing that within their company that we know of.
Yeah, that's exactly because they knew they're gonna get backlash either way. Listen, you can't hire these people, okay? But the real question you have to ask yourself, one, are these people that you hire to just check boxes, are they good at the job? Are they competent? Are they experienced? That's the question. Honestly, whether I heard that, I think they could be hiding it because frankly, I don't trust Disney at all recently. Microsoft, I don't know much about Microsoft. I heard some people who criticized them, like, oh no, it's Alex. He criticized virtually everybody, not just Microsoft, PlayStation, Nintendo, everybody.
We are talking about cultural Marxists. And
Mm.
this is the way that these people actually slithered their way into the entertainment industries. They were quiet, they were tame, and they were not as bold anymore, because if they had been loud from the start and they were demanding change from the start, they wouldn't have gotten their way and they would have gotten fired. They would have been most likely silenced. And now Microsoft sees the tides shifting. And so
Yes.
they're not really scaling things back completely, but they're just being quiet about the way that they
Exactly.
are presenting these things now. We are seeing a major cultural shift happen, and people are finally saying enough is enough. And there are so many people who
Yeah,
are
that's
calling out
right.
these cultural Marxists for what they really are. Of course, they co opted the industry and tried to enact major change. They are people who we really shouldn't trust, but they still are working at Microsoft. They still are working at companies like Disney. And that is why we cannot stop the fight. And that's what these companies are hoping that we'll do, is because they're not using that language anymore, that we will sit here and just blindly believe them and have faith in them. And yes, I do think that internally there could be a change that happens, but we haven't heard of that.
Okay, so here's the thing. I think that's the thing because they're running and hiding. I think the one thing they are afraid, look what's happening right now, okay? EA and Evo, purchased by Saudi Arabia. And next one is Ubisoft, purchased, or in this case, well, at least partially bought by Tencent. I think many of these companies, well, regardless whether they are trillions or dollars, they are afraid, okay? They are afraid to getting bought out, okay? As for the report about the Saudi Arabian losing money, that I still need to research a little bit more on that. I mean, since I know most Middle Eastern nations have boatloads of cash because oil, of course. I'm not certain how that's worked, so I need to do extensive research on that one. They are scaling back, but at the same time, they knew. Both Microsoft and Disney, many of them knew. If they publish a report, or in this case, if they announce anything, they knew gamers will roast them to high heavens. We're gonna skip a bit, so don't worry. Our full video will be linked in the description.
We also have seen Disney dropping DEI and related terms from their most recent SEC report, but this is problematic as well for one major reason. I had just done a video 2 months ago about how Disney was caught hiring a new DEI director.
Yeah,
They
I
are
knew
offering
it.
$250,000
What?
as they are actually doubling down on DEI.
The fuck?
I know Geeks and Gamers had covered this, saying Disney is giving the impression of turning over a new leaf, as for the first time in 5 years, it has left the terms DEI and diversity out of its annual business report for the SEC. So we are talking about them, yeah, maybe, potentially not actually hiring somebody in this position that they were offering $250,000 for, but I would deduce that they are still looking for a new DEI lead, and they are just trying to change their public image, which is pathetic, but also hilarious that they think that we are that stupid.
Okay, Disney, you really need to stop doing this, okay? Did that person that you offer $250K, is she, or whoever she is, I don't know, her sexuality, is she good at the job? Is she experienced? Or she just somebody who is an activist you have to hire because you're afraid to being called racist, bigot, xenophobe, homophobe. To be honest, like I said in my previous video when I talk about this, that Disney is scaling back, to be honest, I am skeptical, okay? I don't trust Disney at all.
We are not going to sit here and say, oh my gosh, Microsoft's done amazing and Disney's done amazing.
No,
and we
I don't
all
believe
need
it.
to get to the box office again and go and buy their new $80 piece of slop just because they slightly change their wording. That is what these people do, is they recode language and recontextualize language
Oh, we are
until
gonna
they
find out
basically
either way.
beat you into submission, but that's clearly not going to happen with us. Gamers are loud, gamers are vocal,
Yeah, that's right,
entertainment
laddie.
viewers are vocal, and we can call out their bullshit as much as we want. We can smell it a
All
mile
thanks
away,
to Elon
even though
Musk.
they hope that one day we are going to change, when really we are not. They are the ones who need to change.
Sorry I have a lot of skipping because I remember this is about how to reset, okay? I'm just showing you clips as an example. Remember what I said? We need to get competent people, okay? That's the first thing. We need to get competent people, someone who loves the media, whether it's movies, TV shows, or video games. We need them back, which includes talented writers, okay? That is something that is lacking in many of these things, okay? And even if there is talent, look, some talented people, or in this case, some experienced employee in the movie industry, TV show industry, and video game industry have either been fired or left the company outright because they don't want to deal with this diversity nonsense. Secondly, listen to feedback, okay? Don't say if you don't like it, don't buy it, turn on the TV, touch grass, or don't ask questions, just consume product and get excited for next product. Okay, that is not how it works, okay? When people say they are voting with their wallets, they are really voting with their wallets. They're closing it, which I mentioned this before. The moment you attack your audience for a slight bit of criticism, guess what happens? Sooner or later, you're going to attack someone who has the means, the money to bury you. And also, sooner or later, these companies will attack somebody that has the means, the money, the resources to bury them for good. So be careful of that. Again, I don't trust Microsoft or Disney, which mostly Disney, but frankly, this is it. This is the proof that Microsoft, or Disney at least, this is the proof that Disney will never learn. For Microsoft, I don't know, because remember, it's still silent so far, okay? We haven't heard anything, so I'll be keeping an eye on this. Always hire the competent people, okay? You need competent people and talented people. Without talent or either competent or maybe experience, well, it will flop, okay? It doesn't matter what people say, it will flop, okay? You need talented people. Someone who knows the media, who loves the media they're working on, and boom, you got it.
This is...
It's a place to honor the dead. They're still waiting for the salvation Mother Sphere promised them.
There.
I want to send the memories left here to Mother Sphere. That's where they belong.
I'll help.
Me too.
Thank you, both of you.